Hello everybody, I'm going to post a clip here. This is really to answer some questions by one user on YouTube who I've been in a dialogue with. This is to help him, but it may help some other people as well or give you some ideas. He was talking about trying to dress the wheels on his grinding stone and watched my diamond grinding jig that I've made, that video, and he was kind of surprised to learn, at least on my bench grinder, I still use the old tried and true star wheels, but that's not really the topic of this. This is more so for the, if you guys have little bench grinders like this, they come with these really cheesy stamped tables, which are, for the most part useless. I haven't made both for mine yet, but I did make a new table here for this side out of just simply a piece of angle iron that I've just kind of machined around and hacked on it and whatever. So it's just to give you an idea of what you could do, and I'll actually take this off and take it up to the workbench in a minute to give a little bit more detail on it. But you can see, to center it, I did make a little spacer here to space it out a ways. I believe I needed to put a longer bolt in for the wing nut, but it works great. I can adjust it up and down. There's a slot in the side, so I'm going to get this off, and to try to answer another question he was asking about, when you're trying to dress wheels that are out around, I was saying that, you have to kind of start steady and hit the high spots first and then slowly work your way into the wheel to get it round. Well, when you first mount your wheel, if you just spin it, and maybe hold your fingernail out here, you'll be able to feel it come around. And if it's way out, you can try to loosen up your nut on the end and just turn your wheel by hand 180 degrees and then lock it in and see if it's better or worse. If it's worse, you might come back 90, and you can kind of center the wheels that way to start with, rather than just throw it on there and maybe you've got a eighth of an inch sticking out here and you need to just take that much stone off to get it round. But to kind of answer the question, or show how I do it without actually doing it, I just stick the star wheel on just like this. I hold it with two hands. I try to put my fingers down here on the back of the rest, and I just slowly, when I turn on the grinder, of course I kind of center it to the wheel, I just slowly come up and hit the wheel just to touch the light spots, and then slide across this way back and forth, and eventually you'll be able to get this thing round. It takes a little bit of practice. I'm still using the old ones here. Like I told him, I'm using pretty fine stones, or at least on this side, a really fine stone, and I used to use a diamond dresser on it, but the problem I found was it put such a nice smooth surface on here. With grinding like high-speed steel, it would just glaze up super fast, generate a lot of heat, and the cutting action just wasn't as good. So I found that, micro fracturing, or whatever you want to call it, with these star wheels gives me the best surface to use, and the wheel actually lasts a lot longer before it glazes up. On coarser stones you might be able to get away with, the diamond pointed tool, but when you do use the diamond pointed tool, even in this type of a grinder, you do want your table, if you're supporting it, to face downwards, so it's scraping across the point. You don't want to come straight in, and you don't want to come up here. About 15 degrees on a downward angle is probably what you would want to use. This is getting long here. I'm just trying to fill this up for somebody, so let me take this off and get it to the bench. Okay, well, here's a quick shot of the actual table that I've made. Like I said, this was just, I think, a 3x3 piece of angle iron, that I've done some machining work on it, and just cut around here and cut a slot in it, and then of course the back side is just what it is, but and then I did mill out a section for the stone to sit down in here so you can get it real tight to the wheel. And I pretty much, on the geometry here, I just used basically from the top to the bottom and made this slot just like what the stamped wheels were, and that gave me all the range of motion to set this either above the center line pointing down, or at the center line straight in, or below the center line pointing up, however you wanted to orient it. And like I said, I did make a little spacer to put in there, and I don't know why, but I milled a little key in here that actually fits down into the slot. I can't, like so. I don't know why I did that. I don't even think that's necessary, but I did it. So that's something you might keep in mind. But this is just an idea, you know, that you can upgrade your cheap stamped tables on your grinder. You know, I'm not really going to give dimensions on this because, you know, each one's probably going to be different, but you get the idea. Hopefully this helps out the original questioner about, you know, kind of what mine looked like and, you know, how I made them. And you can probably whittle something out like this without too much effort and upgrade your tables as well. And like on the top surface, you know, if you don't have a milling machine or anything like that, if you have a belt sander, use that. Hand sander, sandpaper down on the table, you know, just work it back and forth and, you know, kind of machine the top surface by hand. It's going to take you a while, but you can do it, all those surfaces. So I hope this gives you guys some ideas, or at least helps the original questioner. So thanks for watching, and good luck.